Many people are simply too scared to actually say the right thing. They're too scared to speak out against government, too scared to actually say what's going on for fear of reprisal. It's a good thing that the people are noticing that the government and the police really don't care about. It's happening all over the world as well, certainly in America. And again, it's the same in all countries. I mean, we can complain about what's going on here in Australia, and I can see it happening, right under my nose here in Australia. But it's happening in other countries as well. I mean, look what's happening in Sweden and what has happened to Sweden with the migrant influx into Sweden and in Germany and in other places in Europe as well. You've got to wonder why the people of these countries have not risen up and overthrown their governments as well. And you've got to wonder at the absolute stupidity of the police forces in these countries in letting their politicians get away with what they're doing. I mean, the terminal stupidity of these people, it really is the biggest problem we face, folks, Really, when you're looking at this whole corrupt system, the fact that our governments are so out of control, the thing that prevents the people ever being able to stand up against the criminals that have usurped power in their governments is the terminal stupidity of the police. The order followers who just simply do whatever they're told. They will support criminal activity as long as the person carrying out the crime is a politician. As long as that person has a leather chair in the local parliament office, they can get away with whatever they want. The police will simply let them do it because the politicians wrote down on paper that the police have to do this. That's how stupid they are, and that really is one of the biggest problems we face as a society, one of the biggest problems we face in attempting to turn the ship of state around and get mankind sailing in a different direction, is attempting to overcome the brick wall of terminal stupidity, which is the local police forces in all of our countries. This is a real problem, folks. It's a real issue. And as I said, the independent media are just busy arguing amongst themselves and not really looking at the bigger picture. And meanwhile, this guy is suffering as a result, irrespective of whether you think he's controlled opposition or not. He's a human being. He's rotting in jail. And that could happen to you. It could happen to me. It could happen to anybody. And if it did, what sort of help are you going to get from anybody? What sort of help are you going to get when the entire independent media has been programmed to simply sit there and argue over the details and debate whether you're blue or green or purple or grey or whatever, rather than simply looking at the fact that you're deteriorating and they could do something about it where they get a little bit of focus. But no, they don't. They just allow their egos to get in the way and argue over the details. And as I said, folks, it's ridiculous. It doesn't get us anywhere. It's completely absurd. It certainly doesn't bring about any change, and it certainly doesn't provide any type of remedy for us. It certainly isn't anybody grabbing the opportunities that come along to us and seizing these opportunities to see what we could do with them. Because all of these things are opportunities for freedom, folks, if we could just get a little bit of focus on that, because that's what the issue is. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's not about who's controlled and who isn't. It's about freedom, and that's always what it's been about. It may seem a little weird to people. There's a lot of people out there who want revenge, a lot of people who want to be violent, a lot of people who are really angry about the state of the world. And sure, I can understand that. I mean, I'm angry. I'm incredibly angry at the state of the world. If I wasn't angry, I wouldn't do the radio shows, but that's what I do with my anger. The point is, folks, we can't be so quick to judge people. We can't be so quick to accuse everybody of being controlled opposition. We can't be so quick to allow ourselves to be tied up in infighting and tied up in debating over details and allowing the big opportunities to get away. Arguing over the details of the shape of the earth rather than just acknowledging the fact that it's a prison. All of these things are details. All of these things are finer points that we're taught to argue about because divide and conquer is the motto. And while we continue to argue over our belief systems, which is what essentially arguing over details is, when you're arguing over details of something which is up for debate and you don't know what the actual truth is, you don't know what the real outcome of the debate is yet, you've simply adopted one side and adopted a belief system and you're arguing with others. I mean, this isn't ever going to lead to the mystery being solved. It isn't ever going to lead to freedom. All we need to do is acknowledge the fact that all these mysteries exist in the first place because we're not free. And so that needs to be what the focus is. And we do have so many opportunities to bring this freedom about, folks. But we have to realize that not everybody's going to think like we do. And we are at a time now where a lot of the people in the mainstream are going to be waking up, because the ruling hand is locking things down and it's becoming obvious to everyone. And a lot of the people that we've been attempting to wake up are now going to start waking up. And as they do, we can't think that it's all controlled, folks. We need to embrace these people and bring them into the fold, because ultimately it's one race, one human family. We are all in this together. We are all facing the same future. And if we can get a little bit of focus on that, then we do have an opportunity rising right now that could very well lead us to freedom if we can just get some focus. So, yeah, pay attention, folks. Now's the time, and I think it's a very, very important time. So, yeah, please do pay attention, and please do share information. Just share it in the right way.